up, everybody? It's your boy, Marco. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders Geekfest Special. So let me first bring up my boy, a fellow Crusader filmmaker, all right? The one and only award-winning independent creator in both comics and film, Mr. Lance Lucero. What's popping?
Hey, how you doing? It's good to be here.
Yeah, thank you for coming on and joining me today to talk to this very talented writer, director, producer. I mean, right now he got an awesome film that's traveling the circuit with GeekFest FilmFest. Our friends over there, the one, the only Mr. N'cee van Heerden. Wepa, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for coming on and hanging out today to, talk about your film, your journey. This awesome little film again that you also have on GeekFest that I'm digging. Stuff you've done prior. I mean, you've been around, bro, so I'm digging it. Yeah. So again, thank you for taking some time out to chit chat with us today.
Yeah, anytime.
So with that, let's start real quick, man. What's your origin story? Where are you from originally? What's hometown?
I was born in South Africa, just south of Johannesburg, and kind of grew up there. Then got into theater, studied theater, got into theater directing and writing. I tried the acting bit for a year, and it just wasn't for me.
What was it about the acting that wasn't for you?
I'm just bad. Bad actor.
You can openly admit I'm horrible.
That's good.
I love it.
Yeah, but did that for a while. I also did like all the technical side of theater, like the sound, lighting, all that kind of stuff. Did some tours with a bunch of theater shows. And then 2005, I got into movies. From the bottom, runner, like 16-hour days, driving people's stuff around, and it was cool though. I learned a lot of stuff. Then I was in casting for a while, and that's through the casting agency that I worked for. I got to work on District 9.
Oh, nice.
I started off in casting there. Also met my wife on District 9, which is awesome. Who was also the producer of all my stuff, Victoria Burkhardt.
I hope you were really keeping busy with me and lady on stage. Yeah, you know what I mean?
And then, so I started off casting there, did behind the scenes, producing and recording, and I was basically the behind the scenes guy for it. And then I moved to New Zealand with my wife.
Okay.
Worked on some stuff there. Then worked on Elysium, Chappie. Moved to Canada, Vancouver, where I am now.
Oof. Okay.
And started making my own stuff. I've always wanted to make my own stuff, but with all the traveling around and doing other stuff, just never got around to it.
Okay.
And 2018, we decided to start shooting our own stuff.
Oh, okay.
And, so we're getting there.
2 years before the COVID really started smacking the world around. You're still a young baby company, building. So how was it? Was it easy for you to build, what you're building in Canada for you, to re-network and do all that? Did you have people there already? How was that side?
It was good in terms of the people that we met in New Year. They helped us out a lot shooting the stuff, because I mean, you shoot a short, we financed it. Okay. So now that's a lot of money going out your pocket, and so every person who comes to help you out and can give you some stuff, it means a whole deal. It's awesome that a lot of people stepped up, and the crews here are fantastic. So we had like A-grade crews on both our shorts, as you can see. It just looks amazing. Everyone did a impressive job on it. But yeah, we finance. We kind of like at the end of self-financing now. Like we have no more money. So now it's kind of need to get into more networking. Need to find out. Still got some tricks up my sleeve. Still got some ideas on how to do things differently. We don't maybe need all that much cash to make something good, but still figuring all that out.
And is that primarily through the Sizzle Snap Productions?
Yeah, so my wife started that production company mainly for work to kind of just run all the stuff through that she's doing. And then we were like, well, we've got this production company, might as well produce some stuff with it. So it's not just my stuff she produces. There's some friends of ours who and also people who became friends because of her helping them out.
Oh, nice.
The Spears sisters, Freddie Chavez, who also did 2 other shorts. Yeah, so she's been busy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm digging that. So you also write these short films. I mean, where do you dig into, man? What were you a fan of? Because the stuff, these things that you're writing, geez, yo. Sick stories.
Yeah, so I'm not the big horror guy. My writing partner is the guy who created Hunter's Cabin with me.
Okay.
He's the big horror guy. And I met him in Johannesburg studying theater, and we developed our own style of theater, which was very minimalist, like no props, just person on stage, lots of dialogue, which is cool. Like you said you saw OI, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
You know the bar scene, like basically where all the dialogue happens?
Yes.
We shot that in one day, 16 pages.
Ooh.
And the reason we could do that is because rehearsal. We did a bunch of rehearsal. Everyone knew their stuff. The only people not stressing out there were the actors, because they knew their stuff. They knew exactly what they were doing. So everyone else was like, "Oh, we need to get this day," because we only had that location for the one day. But the actors were calm, knew exactly what they needed to do because of rehearsal, and like a week of rehearsal saved us a ton of money. So it's.
I could also see the correlation now with your minimalistic approach if it's coming from theater.
Yeah.
I mean, you're able to really capitalize on a single location.
Yeah.
With minimal performers.
Yeah.
And just execute. And it's more than just 2 people talking in a room, which in a sense you get now in this pandemic explosion. And I think it's a little bit more. Now I see your correlation with the minimalism. It actually fits extremely well with your style of movie making. That's one thing I wanted to talk about, and then how you were able to capitalize that. Just utilize your source location. You shoot the heck out of it. You use it all to the utmost. I mean, minimalistically, there's not a lot of camera movement. There's not a lot of unnecessary cuts.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward. So now it makes sense that the actors were well rehearsed. I'd say that's a really good approach.
Yeah, we. I always feel like, especially the crazier the concept of your story is, I think the more straight the shooting should be.
Right.
Like, because like people have normal, like a vision of normal in their head, especially with movies and we've all been watching movies and TVs our entire lives,
Yeah.
So like there's not many people left alive that weren't around TV or movies. So we know what it should be. We know what we should be seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the crazier you go, like there's also a lot of experimenting I want to do, which I haven't gotten a chance to yet, just because of money. But like experimenting with like messing with people's perception very subtly, like start doing weird angles at very precise moments to kind of just make people uncomfortable, just because we all have a standard of what's normal.
You want to invade? He wants to invade not only our personal space but our mental space, folks.
Especially the mental space.
Yeah, I think that works pretty well because even when you say you're not the horror guy, I didn't feel Hunter's Cabin was a horror movie. I felt it more psychological, which
definitely
is a better spin if you ask me nowadays. And taking the minimalistic approach of just not beating people over the head with the usual tropes. Just avoided it completely, and I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, hey, this is pretty neat. There's you come, like you said, we grew up with film, we grew up with TV. We come to be expectant. And when you start to see the plots unravel in both Hunter's Cabin and original idea, it's like, okay, you're able to pull it back and only give us a taste of it rather than beat us over the head with the trope. And I think that's what really sold me on the productions. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you. Yeah, the main thing with Hunter's Cabin was I went out of my way not to show the monster. I mean, eventually we added a bit, mainly because there's no money. It was the main reason, because you're not going to make a monster look good with no money. Yes, you can make a monster, and you can go there's ways you can do it for sure, and a lot of people have with great success too.
Yeah, you can go to Roger Corman route, right? Hey, rubber suits and cardboard. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, part of the challenge for me was to have how far can you push it without seeing anything? I mean, I'm not 100% sold on it. I think you should see something. So anyone who's like, oh yeah, we should have seen more monster, sure, yeah, I'm with you there. But it was an experiment. Like, what are you doing if you're not experimenting with your short films? That's what they're for. That's what you're supposed to be doing, like experimenting, pushing the boundaries, and go see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, and with that, I actually have the trailer for Hunter's Cabin. All right, so let me show that puppy off real quick, and then we continue the conversation. Check it out, folks. Hunter's Cabin. Wepa.
Did you get there okay?
No, I just got here now.
Are you sure there's no way you can come home? Sam's not even a month old yet.
I wish I could. I'll try and hurry up and get back in 2 days. I love you, Rose.
Love you too.
What a tease right there.
Shout out to Mike Pedraza for cutting that. He's fantastic editor.
Great chop up for sure. Intense, made you wonder what the hell is going on. I'm telling you, this movie, at first I am wondering what's going on. I see a cabin, so I'm thinking, oh, okay. Thinking the cabin movies, it's a disease or some shit. Oh, no, it's not.
Right. It avoids all those tropes. Yeah, that's why I think it keeps you riveted for that 14 minutes. It's like, okay, and like you said, N'cee, sometimes people are expected, but I think this whets people's appetite more than actually showing what people expect to see. Do we need a new design concept? Do we need to see a transformation? Do we need, if we're programmed, we do, but in this sense, I don't think it fits at all. I love the psychological aspect of it, and to me, that's what sells it.
It's an old school feel, things that they used to do, where they didn't have to, it was enough to insinuate what happened, because your mind could take you there, allow the imagination. So that's why
you always make a better monster in your head.
Absolutely.
Than any CGI.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm digging that approach a lot. So how was that filming process for this film? How long was it? Where did you do it?
It was 2 days, shot for 2 days, and it was at a place called McInnes Farms in BC, Canada, just up the road from us, about 20-minute drive. And it was it's a location there. You can look up McInnes Farms, and they have like a old Western town, which I'm like obsessed with. I want to go shoot a Western there. I've got a cool idea for it.
Understandably.
Yeah, always. I mean, who's not into westerns? Like cool westerns.
Absolutely.
You don't know about Lance, do you? He has a cool western out right now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then just down from there is a little cabin. That cabin, and it's all there for shooting. It's for the industry.
Really nice.
And what was funny is while we were shooting, like just across the road is like a horse racing thing that went on. So you had this announcer going on, and we had to kind of try and figure out when they're going to speak.
Oh no.
and then like quickly shoot before they announce the next race or whatever.
Can somebody shoot a dart in his throat so he could be quiet? Right?
Yeah, just send over an assassin, you know. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Those are the tribulations of on location shooting, but
Yeah.
you know, it looked like it was mastered very well.
Yeah. It was you know, the cars driving past and all that kind of stuff. So it looks very isolated, which is awesome. But yeah, if you just turn the camera a little bit, like there's roads and stuff.
Talking about putting this on the circuit, because OI was on the circuit before, and OI folk again, the other film he did, Original Idea, which is again awesome, mind blowing, no pun intended. When you watch it, I was digging it, and it's just what a statement on society, boy, on that one for me. Like, yeah, it would be totally mind blowing for somebody to get something original. Yo,
Right. Yeah, that's hilarious.
It's amazing how many people commented because it's on YouTube now, and the amount of people commenting like, "Oh, this is not original. Like, there's this and this and this." Like, I never saw any of those things before.
Yeah.
Before I made OI, but the whole point of me, for me, of OI is that there is nothing original. There's no such thing as an original idea. We all kind of learn from each other, and you take a bunch of other concepts and you make something new from that. Like, no one's original. You know?
I dug it, man.
I'm certainly not.
I dug it, man. Let me tell you, I said, "Oh, like maybe 3-4 times on the O meter." I was like, "Holy shit, what's going on here? This is bugging out." I love it. What are you watching?
That's pretty cool. I kind of wanted to go back to when you were on the bigger sets, and watching the bigger productions, and being involved with them behind the scenes. Now you're doing your own projects, your own shorts. You know, what did you take away from all of that, and the good and the bad, to say this is how I'm going to do it, and these are the things I'm not going to do during my productions?
Oh, definitely a great question.
So a lot of good, mostly good, because the people I worked with, I was lucky to fall in with that whole group of people, with Neil Blomkamp and all that. And what was awesome was he was very open. Like, I could go virtually anywhere with my camera. Like, while he was talking to actors, you know, sometimes he'll go, okay, maybe not for this scene, you know, when they're struggling with it. But for the most part, he was completely open, completely like, hey, come in, get all of this. And so the cool thing was I got to see a lot of how that whole thing was put together. I learned a lot about, like, that's how OI came, because of all the head explosions and stuff in District 9. I was like, man, I want to make something where heads explode, you know?
Yes.
And of course, the idea I came up with was like the lamest, like dumbest head explosion you could possibly find, you know? Like, but it was just cool to see how all this is done. Like, kind of the thought process that goes into all this stuff. Because there was massive meat explosions all over District 9, you know? Like, I remember the one time they exploded, like, in this like underground place that set that we built, and the whole thing, there was just like bits of like meat and stuff stuck on the walls, and we couldn't remove it for days because we were just shooting continuously. And so for 3 or 4 days you had that meat and this warm, because all like warmed up by all the guns.
Nothing but fun.
So it's like, okay, well, maybe when I'm thinking of a scene like this, think about how to shoot this very quickly so you can clean up all the meat,
Right.
But I think the biggest thing I learned from all of that is just what's possible. Like, because when you start off, especially, and you don't have a lot of money and all that, like, you never think about, you tend to think very small. Like, I need to make this world small and I need to make this story small. But you don't need to. You can make the world massive. You don't need to show all of it, though, And that's kind of what I learned from that, is like even though, like, you look at District 9 and all that, even though it looks massive, it's you don't really need it. it wasn't that expensive, to make, to shoot, especially. Like, yes, it's more expensive than some of us have, but if you just kind of scale it in your head and go, okay, I only have this amount of money, hey, you can take a camera anywhere, just on a street, and just get a wide of something. There you go. Your establishing shot is there. You don't need a lot of money, especially with drones these days. You can get some cool shots, man. And it's more, it's just like thinking about, like, stop thinking about, and I do this all the time, and this is why I can talk of it. Like, I limit myself a lot in like, oh, I can't do this because it will cost this, or and it's like, no, just stop thinking, but just write the story you want to write, and then go and figure out how you're going to shoot it. Because if you really start thinking about it, hey, there's ways to do things that's not always money, and not always like massive visual effects or something you need to do. You can do something, just cut away or pan away or do something. There you go. You save yourself 10 grand,
Yeah.
Little ingenuity.
Right. And sometimes, all that matters is what you see in the frame.
Yeah.
Anything outside, it doesn't matter if it's being held up by a wire or, I mean, it doesn't matter. So I think a lot of people and a lot of modern movie makers are kind of enamored by the fact of a Hollywood set.
Yeah.
The image versus the actual work. It's like, well, no, you're going to be hot, you're going to be cold, you're going to be sweaty. All that matters is what's in the frame.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Joker, the recent Joker movie, I think is a prime example of how to make a world feel massive with not spending that much. Like, sure, they built the set, but you could have shot that in someone's apartment,
Right.
And it's like, when you start thinking about it in those terms, yes, they had the money, so they could do things a little bit easier, but you could make that for probably half of what they did,
Most likely. Yeah. I mean, the bar setting, even in Original Idea, it was a good setting. I mean, you had texture, you had color. It was an environment, and people don't understand. You can recreate an environment. It's
so that's a perfect example. Like, when I wrote the script, I had an Irish bar in my head, because that's what people think when you think bar.
Yeah.
So I had an Irish bar, with all that, and I happened to go to this place for like a friend at a function there years ago. I happened to go to this place, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, what about, let's go have a look at this place. So we were on our way to go look at a bar close to there anyway. It's like, let's just pop in there and check it out. And I was like, you know what? The more unexpected stuff you can do, the better. If people go, hey, there's two people sitting in a bar, make it a tiki bar in the morning,
Right.
Like that's unexpected. The more unexpected things you can do, and it doesn't have to cost money. It's just you, before there's any people that you're paying, sitting there and going, what can we do with this scene to make it more unexpected? What can we change in this little moment that will have people thinking, oh, what? Like, maybe they were thought in that vein, but they not that specific little moment you picked there, or that prop that you found. Whereas, like, don't just go for your first thought. Go for, like, think of all the things you can do. And then if you go for your first thought, it's fine. But then at least you've thought through it and go, is this the absolute best thing I could do in this moment?
That's cool.
So let me ask you, what type of equipment do you use, or did you learn on, rather, as you were stepping into your creative journey? What were you learning on, and was there a learning curve for you?
So the thing about equipment is that, well, the thing about movie making is, don't try and do everything. For me, that's how it works for me. Like, I don't need to be a cinematographer, because it takes time to be a good one. Like, and I'd rather spend my time being a better writer, honestly. Or, I mean, there's only so much practice you can do at being a director, That's the cool thing about theater. You can practice a lot, and it doesn't cost much. But, you can only make so many shorts with the amount of money that you have, sure, if you shoot it yourself, fine. But I just find that if I just focus on the things that I know, so for me, that's actors. I just focus on the actors and the story and the character. That's all I focus on. And then I get everyone else to focus on their thing so that I don't have to think about it. Just come show me the stuff that you, yes, sure, I have some ideas, but bring a better idea. Like that's the whole point of it, is that me thinking of all this stuff, I'm not going to come up with the best idea. The person who's dedicated their life to being a cinematographer or set design or any of that kind of stuff, they're going to come up with the real cool stuff. So let them do it. And then if I come up with something else, let's see if we can top that, you know?
I dig that. Exactly. Use the tools in the arsenal. Use your team. You know, I mean, that's why you guys are a team. So use every weapon at your disposal.
Yeah.
And,
I'm all for anyone can come up to me and tell me, hey, I think we can do this better this way or that way, you know? And yeah, my focus is completely, I just work with the actors. I make sure they're good, because at the end of the day, that's who you're looking at, you know? Yeah, sure, the set and all that makes it nice and makes it believable. At the end of the day, you're looking at that character and you wanna be on this journey with them.
Okay.
And that's my job.
So awesome. with that said, then, what is the ideal actor to work with? Let's just put it out there. So what's the dream person to work with then when you're building, a project?
For me, it's simple. It's someone who's willing to rehearse. Personality types, hey, everyone's going to have a different personality. I like it when people bring their own ideas. I like it when people challenge the script and go, hey, I don't think this character would say this here. Because, yeah, with both the shorts, I changed a lot of the script. Like, if I send you the script for both those things, it will look completely different. Because we just sat there and we changed dialogue and we're like, no, you won't say it this way. I remember in OI there was it's just one line we were looking for and we just couldn't find it. Just to make a nice transition. Because she asked him, what time did you get to bed? And we had written something, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But he kind of, the actor, like the whole time, he's like, man, this doesn't feel good. And we were about 4 takes in, and I like to do like 2 to 3, you know, max.
Excellent.
And I was sitting there, it's like, man, we need to move on. And he's like, just give me a second. And he's like, all of a sudden, he's like, hey, I got it. And he's like, hey, what time did you get to sleep? It's like, decent time. And then he went on, and it's just rounded. It didn't sound like much. It isn't much, but it kind of brought that whole scene together and kind of, okay, we're done with this part. Let's move to this part. And it was just that actor's intuition, you know. And Ben is a very experienced actor, and when people like that says something feels off, you just go with it. You just go, okay, fine. Let's find the answer to it, and let's figure it out.
So you said something interesting to me. You know, you like to do takes quickly. Get her done. Is that something that you learned through the journey, or just something you said this is how it's going to be?
Yeah. So Neil shoots the same way, very quickly, and from seeing and you know, I've worked on other stuff too, and kind of seeing the way other people do, like take after take after take. I don't see the value in it, honestly. I don't see, like, you look at take 1 and take 10, and they kind of look the same to me. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, if you rehearse beforehand, you do all that work without a bunch of people you're paying standing there soaking up money, you know? So if you just rehearse and the actors know what they're doing, then it's just technical stuff. It's like, okay, well, yeah, let's change this a bit. Or you can play around. You can even go, during rehearsal, we like doing it this way, but this way is also cool. Let's try both, you know? Because you've got the time and you know you're going to get all the other shots in like 2 or 3 times.
I think Lance could speak on that, right, brother?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I shoot on film, so I got to make sure the takes are spot on. So that's and rehearsal, like you said. Yes, the run-throughs. I'll do 20 run-throughs before I roll a single frame. That's just the way you got to do it.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good segue even into post-production, because I find that in the HD era, that a lot of newer movie makers are going overboard with their takes and their footage. So then I'm finding it's really killing them in post-production. storage wise, having to weed through and edit. But it looks like your minimalistic approach from theater, I mean, is very well grounded, not only in your production, but it sounds like now you're able to streamline your post-production because of this. I mean, is that the case?
Yeah, I take a bit of a different approach. Like, I'm kind of hybrid of what you were saying, the two camps, like people who shoot a lot and people who don't. Like, I'm, especially after doing Hunter's Cabin, because I mean, this is why we do this, so we learn. And my approach now is you make your story in the edit. Everything else is just resource gathering for that. So while you're on set, shoot as much as you possibly can. And I'm not saying take after take after take, because I don't think that's efficient. But go shoot a bunch of stuff. If you see something there that looks halfway interesting, just because we're on digital and you can, and it's cheap, shoot it. Like if it's a ant crawling over something and it looks kind of cool with this background, just go shoot it, and then you have it. Might not use it, but it's fine. I mean, don't interrupt your day for it. But if you have the time, shoot the extra little bits, the interesting stuff. Maybe do that alternative take that you wanted to do on something. Allow yourself time for that, because you can. So don't waste time on things that you can control. Use that time and try and do different stuff with it. Like shoot your one that okay, this is my safety. Cool, got my safety. Now let's play around with it, because we've got a bit of time. We've got 15 minutes. We can do 2 takes of something completely different that we have rehearsed. So I just think don't waste time on things that's going to cost you money that you don't need to pay for, and rather get the extra things while you have a whole crew there who can help out. Like use everything efficiently and well.
Yeah, and you can see that in Hunter's Cabin, because you utilize the cabin. I mean, those close-ups with the sponges hitting the table, all those little things. It's like, well, that adds rhythm and flow to the edit. It's not just stagnant. Yeah. So you're able to progress the story forward through imagery, and that's the route to go. So that's what makes it enjoyable.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like the Bryce Zimmerman, the DOP, he just had the camera in like a overhead rig, and he could just walk around. So it was cool. Like you just quickly get these little inserts of things, and it's like, who cares if it works or not? Like just get them quickly while we have some time. Say they're doing a setup just off to the side. We've still got lighting in here, so let's just shoot here while they're setting up there, because it's an efficient use of time. Otherwise, we're going to sit around and tell like dumb stories to each other.
Right.
It's like, well, we've got the time. We have all hard drive space. Let's shoot some stuff while we're doing that. And it's just, and then that way everyone's busy and your mind keeps going and your day doesn't feel like it's dragging.
Gotcha. So before we move further, before we get into GeekFest and then this new platform that you're on too, where we got to see the awesome films, it'll be the ending questions. But let's see a quick trailer about GeekFest, folks, the best traveling film fest ever. Make sure to check them out at GeekFest LA, so you know what convention we're going to be at next, so you can watch Hunter's Cabin amongst them and enjoy that. So talk about that. How did you hook up with GeekFest? Why did you guys think of GeekFest when Hunter's Cabin was running about?
GeekFest has sounded awesome. It sounded like something completely different, and I'm pumped to go check it out. Like I hope that I can get to as many of them as I possibly can. It just sounds amazing. It just sounds like something new, because like festivals, you always have a kind of a vision in your head. This is what festivals are, and for the most part, festivals are kind of boring,
Yeah.
And but this sounds like, hey, it's a festival, cool. So I get to talk to all the other movie makers, and we can chat, talk shop, and all that. But there's also all this other stuff that I'm not into yet, or maybe something cool that I haven't heard of before.
Well, let me just tell you in advance, make sure that your wife holds your wallet, because when you travel those corridors and those conventions, you just want to start throwing your money everywhere. Ooh, I want that. I mean, I took down a lot of stuff. But then look at these bad boys. I mean, my wife's like, you're a grown man, and here I am buying Voltron. You know what I mean?
It's Voltron. Are you kidding me?
I feel that's a good investment.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant to say. I was watching a very funny video today on TikTok where it says, how collectors lie to their wives. So it's the guy in his room. He's basically, what is that? Oh, I had this for months, but then you see the receipt when he bought it, like just yesterday. And finding secret spots. I hope she won't find it here. I mean, it was hysterical. I was like, you know what? What guy hasn't done that?
Exactly.
I dig it.
The problem is my wife is almost worse than me sometimes.
You gotta be looking in her room. Like, wait a minute, where's that come from?
We just ignore each other and go get the things we want.
I won't say nothing if you won't. All right, deal.
All right.
Deal. You just give each other a side eye. Like, I know I'm not gonna say nothing, but I know. I love it. So talk about the platform you're on now. That I was checked. That I had got to see OI, and because I see that a lot of other filmmakers put in their film on this platform on YouTube. A little bit about that.
Are you talking about Omeletto?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Omeletto,
yeah. So it's just there's a couple of we also want to at some point approach Alter because they're more horror centric. Omeletto has been awesome. Like they're great people to work with. They're just more branch out, like kind of any genre you can think of. If it's good, they'll show it. I think the only requirement is that you need to be in a Oscar qualifying festival.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to be accepted into an Oscar qualifier. You don't need to win anything there or anything. You just need to be accepted, and then it's just their way of kind of just because there's so much stuff out there. They can only watch so many shorts in a day.
So what's an example of an Oscar qualifying festival?
The one we got into is there's so many of them. That there's the Los Angeles. I can't remember the name now of the one.
Do you know any, Lance?
Yeah, I mean, well, your run-of-the-mill ones would be like Sundance, Tribeca, Toronto, but even New Jersey qualifies. I mean, there are a lot of festivals that qualify. Austin,
okay.
The Indie Shorts, I think, does. Independent Film, I think, does. So, yeah, you got to get on the radar, get an official selection, a win of some kind, and then you're qualified. Yeah.
Gotcha. So
yeah, there's quite a few. You can look it up too.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, so how does the platform help you guys as a filmmaker too? With reach their whole market or anything like that?
Well, it's just good to get your stuff out there.
Okay.
Like, sure, you can put it on your own channel, but who's going to watch it? Like people need to know about your channel, and growing a channel is hard. So if you're just making shorts, then I don't know. It's like having a smaller slice of a way bigger cake.
Okay.
Like, sure, you can take all the revenue or whatever of the 5 people who's going to watch it on your channel, or you can go to Omeletto, Alter. There's a bunch of other ones too.
Okay, great.
And they've got like 2-3 million people sub to their channel, and you're going to get some views on it, some eyes, and that's all I want. I just want people to watch the shorts. Like, I don't. It's of course it's better if you watch it in the theater, but
Have you had that opportunity yet to watch it yourself in a big screen?
I did. I went to oh man, not fantastic. Film Quest.
Okay.
Sorry to the people at Film Quest. My mind's just like, oh, great! It's a great festival. If you ever get a chance to go there, it's awesome. Jonathan, who runs it, fantastic. So I went there. It's in Utah, and it's in a great small little town there, and it's amazing. They have some crazy movies there. They go for, it's a genre festival, so lots of horror, lots of thriller. There's some fantasy stuff in there too. So I went there. I try to go there every time I have something out, just because they're great people.
Nice.
So I got to see it there with some people, but I missed out on so many just because of COVID. So
Right,
I'm hoping that I can catch a few of these, because it's just cool sitting there and getting a vibe for what people think of your movie. Because it's tough, like you're not in there with everyone. You can't see how it's being perceived.
Yeah.
And you don't know if people are telling the truth or not when they tell you, "Oh, I liked your movie." It's like, are you sure?
Right. It's kind of a weird setup. So, are you like in the meantime gonna stick with the short form, or are there any? I mean, I know the jump to features is it's tricky now in these times. But what do you prefer at this point, the short form or the long form?
I definitely want to get into features because I feel that. Well, it's of course the next step, but I just feel it's a big challenge, like a cool challenge to go do. I've got an idea. I've been thinking about a Hunter's Cabin feature for a while, and I had this idea, and I wrote a bunch on it, and then probably 2 weeks ago, I came up with a better one. And so I'm on page 2 now of that. Just done all my figuring out of it, and just started writing today, actually. So,
cool.
But I want to power through that one and get it going, which will hopefully because I was just thinking, like, how can I make something that's really good, with a lot of production value and all that, but not pay a bunch of money to do it. And so the old script I was writing was going to cost a bunch of money. This one I can probably do for a lot less, and hopefully make some money so I can make the cool.
Yes.
That's
coming. Don't you worry, those days are coming, and see, they're coming, because you're definitely very talented. You're making fun stuff. Again, you already worked on some stuff I enjoy, and what I saw today, I absolutely loved. I mean, I can't wait. A feature on the cabin, that shit just made me laugh. Right? Oh, I had the story done. Now I got to rewrite it. I just get something better. So hold on. I'm like, wow. The creative person is just also very funny. They're never happy.
Yeah.
Right? Never satisfied. Wait a minute. I got something better a month down the line.
Yeah, it's because when you come up with the idea, it's all nice and shiny in your head, and perfect. And then when you start writing the idea, like all the flaws come out, all the cracks start showing.
If you're honest with yourself, though. You have to be honest with yourself.
Well,
you
gotta be.
What else? What are you doing if you're not doing that?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people that weren't honest for themselves, and they almost tore the world apart.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, so we got the tour. We have, you with the feature idea. Hopefully, maybe next up.
And another short I'm trying to get money for. I just want to shoot. Yeah. So if anyone has like work, just tell me. I'll shoot anything. I'm happy.
Excellent. So if they wanted to get into contact with you, right, they could just visit SizzleSnapProductions.com.
That's the best way to do it.
Wonderful.
Or Instagram. It's fine.
And the Insta right there, N'cee van Heerden, people. All right. Awesome. Please make sure to follow him, support the website, support GeekFestLA.com, support independent filmmakers that can see, like Lance. That's what they're doing out here. And what's the next con that we may be able to see you at? And see, is there any convention that you have a plan for to show up in?
I'm not exactly sure. I'm still kind of checking the website, and I'm still trying to navigate like where they're going, when, and what's happening. But probably like this. I'm in Vancouver, BC, so anything on this coast, maybe?
I'm sure there's a fan expo
Yeah.
show. That's the one that he does a lot of fan expos, and there's several in Canada. And I believe they are a Canadian-based entertainment company. So people will get to hang out with you. So, and I gotta ask you, man, 'cause I keep seeing the logo. It says VHS. I mean, 2021. What is that?
That's a Vancouver Horror Show.
I'm about to say, are we talking video cassettes? Like, there's no video cassettes in 2021.
The Vancouver Horror Show that also like great people. If anyone makes if you make shorts, come send some stuff into them. Come hang out in Vancouver.
Excellent.
Yeah,
We definitely will. So, folks, once again, follow the big homo N'cee van Heerden on Instagram. Please check out Sizzle Snap Productions. Again, if you're looking for people that you're gonna film sign, he's ready to shoot. You heard him.
Yeah.
Right.
Shoot every day.
Gotta keep rocking.
Yeah, and again, visit the website for GeekFest, geekfestla.com. Lance, thanks for hanging out with me. And
hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Now, that's what it is. This is the fam right here, folks. All right? This is awesome. This is fun. Hasta la próxima. Much love, mi gente. Later.
See ya.
Thank you. We hope you've enjoyed this Comic Crusaders production. For real-time news on all things pop culture, please feel free to follow us on social media. For articles, original content, merchandise, and more, please go to www.comiccrusaders.com. Also follow along